think the idea of what we want to do is have this left side be blurred of the image. So with CSS, you can do that if you have a duplicate image and then you blur it a certain amount. So now we want to blur this area but keep a nice sidebar. So what we'll do is do something around like 400 pixels wide, something like this, where this would be the sidebar, but we don't want, you know, a heavy sidebar. We want it to be blurred. So the idea is that we duplicate this background here, and you want to make sure not when you select it that you're not like, if you saw that what happened when I selected it, it's like mostly it grabs the full page. So you want to make sure you're just on the image itself. Hit Command C, Command D. Okay, so now if we drag it, you see what happens since we've already cropped it. It doesn't work. So what we want to do is crop it again. So click Image, and it will go to the crop, and you can see that you have your handles. So what we'll do is just come over here and lock it. So now we have an exact duplicate of this image here, but it's on another layer. And you can see it's up above. So top level photo, just name it that. And you can come in here to the effects, click plus, and we don't want to drop shadow. We want, if you do background blur, it won't do anything, but you come in here and get to layer blur, and you get this really nice effect. Might be a little too much. I'll tone it back a little bit to 28. Okay, it's still hard to read, and you want to be careful because you're going to be flipping through images, and your image might be really white or light up above. So what we want to do is just make another version of this, just with the rectangle. Since we named our layer, I can come down here and we'll just say gradient. It's really nice to label it if you can. You can take the time, because if you're handing it off, developers really like that. So we're going to go to our colors and pick the NASA dark blue, and that won't work either. I mean, you can break this and then come down here and hold shift and down, and it will go back 10% each time you go back. So it's kind of nice if you've got it like a linear effect, so that you can see more of this image that's so cool. So what we'll do is come down here to solid, the fill, you click this color and go to linear. And now that we've got this to set to 0 at the bottom, and then this one, you can drag this over and you can see, let's see. Okay, skip that part, Brian. But it's set to that way, yeah. Okay, now start again, Brian. The linear effect you want is set to 40 already, so you want it to be like 100, and then tone it down from there. But what you can do is drag this to match any elements that you want to get your eye to line across, but for right now we'll just set it like this for now, and maybe set this one at 90%. Let's see. Yeah, I think that will work well. So we're not going to lay out the text yet, but we'll get there. So I think with your eye, you want to match this one over here, which is the NASA Blue Black. All right. So maybe we can have the NASA logo pop out a little bit, and then do this one just a little bit lighter. So let's look back at these colors. And see if any of these work. So what we'll do is go to our fill, click on the eyedropper, and come back here. And now this is getting annoying, so I'm gonna probably take off the grids just for a little bit. So you can come back here and make this lighter, or you can just toggle it off. All right. So now you can see kind of some subtleties where this gray is going to match some of these grays. And I think what we'll do is just match this gray too. And yeah, it's flowing a little bit better. So let's add some button text, some menus. So we'll say this is missions, and we'll make it white. And let's say this is Nexa bold. Okay. Sometimes, I mean, there's just not a lot of space to work with on the headers, so you want to not spread out your text too much, but you can, you know, do like a 10% letter spacing sometimes, or even just a little bit to let it read a little bit better, smaller. And if this was a big project, we would make these into components and then duplicate it. I'll just do it really quick so you can see, and we'll just keep the component there. So we're going to do Option Command K, which makes this into a component. And what we're going to do is auto layout right here and horizontal, and we're set to right now. So when this is just a standard menu item, you can see it's right here. So what we're going to do is hold Shift and Option, which makes it create a direct iteration of it, and then we can just go in and type whatever we want in it. And if the client later, which we're not doing for a client, but if they later wanted something to change, like, well, we don't like Nexa, we like Arial. And so then what happens is this changes to Arial too. So that's just something for larger projects, but this one, we're gonna do it just because it's super fast and easy. So we'll do is missions, and we don't want Arial. So we don't want this to be Arial. So since this is the component and this is the iteration of it, then we'll go back here and go back to Nexa bold. All right, so now that's changed. Click Shift Option Hold and downloads. Okay, and this is a good way to look at this too, is I'm just gonna make these really quick. And about, and let's add, I always keep like social icons, or this is the search with font awesome. So I'm going to drag that over here and go to white. Okay, so about, let's just be devil's advocate. About is undercase too, lowercase. So we want all uppercase. And I type these out that way. Just go back to your component, come down to your text area, and there's these 3 ellipses right here, and it opens up quite a bit of stuff. It's really nice what they've done. So we'll go to the letter case. Don't get overwhelmed. Just stay right here and hit uppercase, and you can see immediately you can click and change all of those at the same time. So we're moving quick, so I'll just keep going, and we're going to align these holding shift, and then you can even do this where you space it out and tidy it up, and that worked pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see how it goes. So all right, so there's our menu. We want to maybe have galleries be, well, this is a gallery, that's why I did this. So yes, we will do galleries, and we'll do this fill. And I think coming back here, there was a nice gray or something. Let's see this E. Let's see. E8. That might be too light, but what we'll do is duplicate that. Wow, you can barely see it. I bet you can't. And we're going to drag this down to about there. All right, and now we'll make this one NASA gray one. All right, so then what we'll do is select these missions, downloads, about, and go to our fill. And whoa, we don't want that. We need to be in. So what we can do is go back to the component. This is why I love components. Go back and make them all gray. Then we do this version and we come back and do it white. So now you have the grays and the white. And that's probably not enough to show that it's on there. I'm trying to keep this really simple. Let's do a rectangle with 4. Maybe just like 32 by 4, just really small, something like that. And we'll use our hot color, maybe. All right, let's keep moving. So I'll grab this text, and what we'll do is make this come back now to lettercase, uppercase. We might have to go down and stack this. So we want this line to line up with your eye, and then probably this line, but we'll just keep going. I think I'm going to show you really quick. On this, you can change your line height. It's just right in here. It's set to auto, but like you can do some tests, and so that would be like directly on 16. So sometimes I'll go to 24, and that looks good. Something like that. Oh, I did that. I moved it off where I wasn't supposed to. All right, you can see how it's shaping up. It's cool. Pretty simple, pretty quick. We'll do maybe a really fun like walkthrough showing which photo you're on. Okay, let's make a menu over here. So I'm going to make a menu come in a little bit, and since we're using 4s right now, we'll do that. Rectangle 32 by 4, and make this white, and try and get your line all the way across by holding shift. It might be too fat. So sometimes I just like to simplify it, make it 2, space it out a little bit more. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine. It might be, we're gonna cheat and just go to 3s, and that'll be okay. Yeah, that's great. So I was thinking, let's keep this really simple. I'm not going to even use the social icons and just think about it more of a science type of site. So what we'll do is use maybe this font here and say Twitter. And we'll make this centered. LinkedIn, just something like that. Facebook, or as Von Glitchka says, face bag. Okay. Yeah, and maybe let's just go crazy and twist them a little bit, make it a little bit more exciting. Or maybe not less exciting, or maybe it's a little bit less exciting, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of like on the side, but it's not the most important thing. All right, so like 40 pixel space. Yeah. All right, so now let's keep moving, and what we'll do is see if we can do a really cool, like, this is why we're doing this, is so that this is a gallery and that you're going to see other images and you're here to look at really cool images. So let's do a detail button, because you don't want to post a whole bunch of text. You'll want a small details button. But since it's a hotspot, we will want to make it that hot color here, and a plus, kind of simple. And I don't like to hamburger this kind of stuff, so I want this to either be closer or further away, so that your eye combines these two together, and then this is the action. We could do some chevrons too that are small. It might be too much, but let's see here. And you got to think about if this is on an iPad or a touch device, that you can't stick the next chevron right next to it, because you don't know if it's a mouse or a finger. So if you have a finger, I'm just for time purposes, I'm going to spin this. You want to make sure your hotspots have, like, I think it was 44 pixels. The hotspot would be nice. You know, if you've got big fingers, you just have to be careful about it. So, all right, we'll take this details. I think we'll take it down.